A reminder here on the High School Huddle to follow us on our home channel, our YouTube page. Subscribe and like. We appreciate that. We're also on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And of course, if you rather have the audio version of this show, you can go to Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And now with that, we bring in the head coach of the Blackwell Maroons, top ranked and looking pretty good to go to win another state championship. Head coach Connor Cline. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday night.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
I got it started off with you calling Phil out in the public. You're off to a great start in my book, Coach.
God dang, Coach.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had to.
Hey, Coach, you're muted, Coach.
He's not muted. You don't have your ear in. Coach, you're fine.
Yeah,
never mind. Phil's old.
Hey, it's his first show. He'll be here in just a second. So
how's
everything? Out of school today?
Yeah, we're out of. I think we're out tomorrow too.
Sweet.
Okay, now I'm back. Coach, you called me out in public.
Hey man, that was a nice call out, Phil.
It was. It was a very respectful call out. It was.
That was a Facebook call out.
And now I realize why. I was like 47 when you were born. I'm so much older than you. It's killing me.
Yeah.
Killing me. Now, hey,
that's all right.
Happy birthday, Coach.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Now, tell us that we had a over-under bet. How old are you?
32.
32. Oh. Okay.
Yep, all 32 right. In one day.
All right. Well, happy birthday. That's
appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, brother.
No, I'll give Phil a little bit of a pass. He showed up to the Blackwell duel early, but he wasn't feeling well, so he went home early. So he didn't get to actually watch you guys wrestle.
Harry, that might make sense then.
After I
watched you guys wrestle, I was like, they're winning this duel. I was confident in my pick.
Now, Coach, what you don't know, I'm a little bit behind the scenes. A magician's not supposed to, explain how you do a trick. Shawn threatened Chris and I. He said, you can't do a show where everybody picks the same damn teams every week. So
yeah, that's right.
He made us. We knew you were going to win. He made us.
That makes sense. Makes a little more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I can promise you I'm not doing that again. I'll just take the whipping next time, Coach.
Yeah, okay.
Coach, there's so much I want to get into with you, but the first question that when I knew you were coming on that I had for me is you won 2 state championships at Blackwell at your alma mater, and now you've coached a couple state championships. What's the difference between the two? I know they're both special, but what's the difference?
Man, they're unique in their own ways. Whenever I won them as an individual in school, I think it was kind of expected, right? Like in my mind, and which was great because I thought we had a Cline curse going on for a while. Our family we were taking second a little too much, so getting that monkey off my back and winning in high school that was awesome, and getting to do that with the group that we had wrestled, our entire lives here in this town. So, that was really cool. But coaching has taken on an entire new aspect. And, I didn't really get nervous whenever I was competing. And now I literally think that I wrestle, like in a dual meet, I wrestled 14 plus matches. Right. So, it's heightened and enjoyable too at the same time. It's an experience that I wish everybody could feel truly. Yeah.
Well, you get so vested with these kids, and their families, and you add to that. You're like Chris said, you're wrestling and you're coaching in your hometown.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
There's a lot of expectations.
A lot of expectations.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm telling you, I would not trade it for the world.
That's awesome.
There's a guy that used to wrestle named Dan Gable.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, just an old timer.
Yeah.
But he said once I heard him in an interview, it always stuck with me. He said that coaching or wrestling was actually pretty easy because he knew how much work he'd put in. He knew what he was capable of, and so he'd go out there and do it, and it wasn't a surprise. But in coaching, you don't have any control over what's going on. You're helping,
right. Yeah.
But all the control and everything that's going on is out of your hands. It's literally out on the mat, and you're not there. So you're kind of having to rely on this chaos that you can't control as a wrestler. You can as a coach. You did all you could, and now you just got to sit back and watch with everybody else.
No, that's fun. And being a fan of the sport too, it's really rewarding though. You get to see the individuals kind of what the path that they're going through, and then you kind of can compare it to even, whenever I was in school, which seems like an eternity ago, but it wasn't. So it's, you kind of get to live it with them, and you understand what they're going through, but it's really rewarding. Even, guys that, if their goal is just to make that starting lineup and wrestle in Charles Hetrick in our field house for one match, it's rewarding to see that it pay off for them, especially being from here. It means a little bit more, I think, probably. So
I think wrestling's the only sport that I'm aware of, guys, that no matter where you're at, skill level wise, you can get things out of it you're going to carry through life.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
I mean, if you play football and let's say you're a program kid and you just can't, you play 4 years and the closest you get to the field is maybe on kickoff or, because you're a program kid and you work hard and they're trying to get you out there. Yeah,
it means something.
It means something, right? In wrestling, I don't care if you're below 500 in your career. In this case, you forever were a member of a Blackwell wrestling team.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you say that with pride. The same for all the great programs around the state. Whether you're Stillwater, you're Tuttle, you're Edmond North, you're all the great programs. Somebody out there, Coetas, Perry for years and years and years, and
sure.
But wrestling's the only sport that I don't care where you're at. You're a wrestler. You're a wrestler.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's the coolest sport out there.
Yep. One thing that's pretty cool that our program used to do, and we've gotten new signs now, but we used to have, if you won a state title, individual nameplate would go up on the wall. Well, my nameplate, for example, my workout partner put his name on the back of my nameplate, right?
That's awesome.
And so that's something that's always been done. Now we have new boards where we don't have nameplates anymore, but it, like you said, whether you're the guy out there competing or not, I mean, it means something, right? And my partner's name is forever on that wall, right? In my mind, and rightfully deserved to be there. So,
well, you don't win state titles. You sure don't win multiple state titles if you don't have a good room and if you don't have that partner that's pushing you every day. And and I know that your room has got to be loaded with studs. Many of them we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah.
Out on the high school level, and that's exciting. Talk a little bit about your room. Yeah,
that's kind of the story of our team this year. So
yeah, Coach. Of course, you wrestled at Blackwell, went on to Oklahoma State University for a little while. Become a head coach. When did you know you wanted to be a coach, and what did you learn? Obviously, at OSU, there's a guy over there who's pretty good that you run there. But talk about when did you want to be a head coach, and what did you take from other places that you now incorporate into your program?
Truthfully, I think I've always kind of had a little bit of a coach in me, just naturally. I really didn't have any plans on becoming a head coach. I graduated at Oklahoma State and came back to town and decided to help out Coach Edgar, who's now my assistant, but he was my head coach at the time. And he was kind of ready to be done for a little bit and hang him up. And I kind of just said that I would do it. So I jumped in head first.
So what, of course, Perry, 13 state championships combined in wrestling. Of course, in 23 and 25, going for it again here.
We're Blackwell. We're not Perry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Blackwell. I meant Blackwell.
No, good,
13 out of 15 at Blackwell.
That was him.
But you won in 23, 25. We're not worried about Perry anymore. 23, 25, going for it in 26.
Just missed the perfectly good team.
What clicked over the last few years? There was a little dry spell from 2012 to 23.
Yeah, let's see. So this is my ninth. This would be my ninth season as head coach, which is absolutely crazy to say. We were 10th, 7th, 5th. I know this off my head because each year we had to get better. 10th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 1st. So I think a culmination of things. I think when I was young and fresh and just starting out, I call it cutting the head off the snake and kind of revamped our program. And a lot of people at the time might have, especially being in Blackwell, probably like, oh gosh, I didn't have a lot of numbers because it was hard. It was tough and had to change a culture a little bit and get it, just correct that ship just a little bit. And ever since then, we've obviously we have a great youth program and we've had some really great groups that have been good for a long time, but then that's culminated into a winning culture. And you get winners in there and it becomes really contagious, and you're training alongside guys that have won multiple titles, and then the trust becomes there in your coaching staff. And it's just, from top to bottom, it's insane what we have in such a small rural place, I guess. But at the same time, it's expected, if that makes any sense. So
it does.
you know, it's expected. You're expected to go out and get a major against another guy that is, you know, of the same quality of you. You're expected to go out and get bonus points. You're expected to go win a state title or be in the hunt for one. And that's just kind of how we view things. You know, and it's working, right? The proof is in the pudding, or however you want to say it's working. Now it's old school. It's hard, right? We don't have like an abundance of numbers in high school because I'm of belief like if I have 50 or 60 kids in my room, as much as what I would love that, then it's not hard enough. And so I want I want the guys that want to be there to win, you know, and winning breeds winning, and like I said, it becomes contagious, and I think just over the last 8-9 years here, it's paying its dividends.
Coach, does wrestling compete with other sports in Blackwell, or is wrestling Blackwell?
Well, I have to be careful how I say it. I think
it is, Shawn. Yes,
we'll say it for you.
Short answer,
It is.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now listen, we're you know, if you talk about Blackwell right now, we're known as a wrestling school. You know, but that's not a shot at any other thing. I don't think. I just think when you pull into town on either side of Blackwell, there's a big sign that says Blackwell Wrestling, 104 individual state champions, 10 team titles, 2 or 3 dual states, right? So like that's what you see coming into town.
Paint's fresh because every year.
That's right. We got to keep adding to it. No, we're a wrestling town. We're wrestling people, hard nosed, maybe a little redneck. I call it NASCAR. But yeah, this is a wrestling community, right? You know, it's the Big Four, like the Big Four tournament we host this Saturday. It's wrestling country up here, though. Blackwell, Perry, Ponca, and at the time was Stillwater, right? So those were the Big Four, original Big Four.
Yeah.
This is wrestling country.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Coach, you talked about your room a little bit. How many kids are in your room?
Little bit thin this year. Right about 20 right now, I think, high school wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little League program. Are you directly involved?
It's
with Little
rocking.
League?
Yeah. So I actually, I feel old saying this, but Caden Ailey, a kid that graduated for me a couple of years ago, he's actually back running youth. I think we have 4 or 5 youth coaches now, Tyler Manuel. So I have kids that have now won a title or competed for me, integrated into the youth and running the youth. So we're very involved with that. And then, you know, I have Tyler Shin, who was wrestled at Oklahoma State as an assistant coach. I have Coach Edgar, who was my coach, and then I have another kid on our staff. I call him a kid now. He's a teacher and an assistant coach now. He wrestled for me his first year, you know, and Jesse Killamako. So our staff at Blackwell is of the likes of what you would see at a Edmond North or a Stillwater, in my mind and opinion, right? It's from, and I guess I'm biased, but from top to all the way down below, you're covered with state champions. Yeah. You know.
Now Tyler Shin, I actually cornered him in a cage fight about, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when he was in Stillwater.
At least you were cornering him and not locked in the cage with him.
He's a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah, we're happy to have him. We're blessed with the staff that we have, for sure.
Talk about the Blackwell Perry rivalry over the years. Is it you guys had the upper end over the last several years, but 51-25 this year. But try to explain to someone who's never been to a Blackwell Perry duel.
It's the greatest rivalry in the state. No matter no matter if somebody's number 1 and somebody's number 10, it's wrestling. It's the blue bloods. It's you know, it means something. And it's tremendous. See, and I kind of see both sides of it. My whole family, my cousins wrestled for Perry, right? So my Aunt Linda, her dad is Danny Hodge. So what I have, you know, I get it from both sides. So whenever I was in high school, you know, there's a lot of friction. Yeah, there's a lot of friction, right? And so, you know, my senior year was our first year down to 3A, and we beat Perry that year. And we were 1 and Perry was 2. And it's the Perry Blackwell rivalries. It's the greatest in Oklahoma.
So I got to ask this, Coach. So you're related to Brent Hodge?
Yeah.
Why didn't Brent wrestle? Was he too pretty? He didn't want to wrestle.
He's very
I mean, there's a lot of expectations there. Can you blame the guy? I mean, you know, I've always found it incredible how Coach John, how JoJo and Sam and Levi and all them are wrestling. I think it's those are hard shoes to fill, man.
Well, Brent's a dear friend of Chris and I. Has known him for a long time. Chris called a lot of his events, and Chris and I were fortunate that we were on the Hall of Fame Sports Committee in Guthrie, and were able to nominate him the year he was voted into the Guthrie Sports Hall of Fame. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
great guy. And of course, I know that I met his grandfather on a couple occasions before we lost him, and what a immovable force he was.
Oh yeah, he's an incredible man for sure.
Yeah,
in more ways than one.
Yes,
for sure.
Beyond wrestling.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Back when you competed and you were in, you go down to Perry to duel them. You're a Blackwell kid. Dan Hodges sitting there. Were you in awe, or was that a Tuesday for you?
Yeah, that would have been a Tuesday.
You got to see him a lot.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. He even whenever I was in college, I mean, he'd show up to some open tournaments and follow, and he's he was special for sure.
Special man. Yeah, no doubt.
We'll dive into your season here. Speaking with Connor Cline, the head coach of the Blackwell Maroons. The big one with Tuttle, that was pretty cool. I knew it was a big deal. Tuttle turns the lights off, and they had the flags come in. And actually, both head coaches go to the center mat. So I was like, okay,
yep.
We got a big time.
Was it last week we had the picture up?
Yeah, it was last week we had the picture up. So
yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, talk about.
By the way, that whoever did those, I can't remember that kid's name, but he does a heck of a job, man. Those photos are incredible.
Yeah, Hunter Shepard's his name. He's a great kid. Probably knows more about high school sports than anybody I've ever met in Oklahoma.
No,
great kid.
Those were epic.
And it was his first high school duel, I think, that ever went to.
That's what I'd heard that. Yeah.
Great one to go to. 157 took it. You guys about 157 on took it, but that had to be a fun duel. I mean, the Blackwell, top notch program. Always good to put tough teams on your schedule, but man, on the road at Tuttle in that environment, that had to be quite the scene for high school wrestling.
Yeah, that was it was good, and I think that's the one thing about us, or I guess with me and our mindset or my mindset. I want to put us in the fire, and I want our guys when we show up to the postseason at dual state, regional state. I don't want the deer in the headlights look, right. I want them to understand that they have wrestled the best competition, wherever that might be. You slapped hands with the best guys that we could possibly find, and you're prepared, right? And Tuttle gives that environment for us. They came up here and dueled us last year, and we owed them a trip down there, and it's great, right? And it's great for the sport, and I love, as a fan, I like to see the number 1, number 2 football games. I like to see the two guys, duke it out in a UFC fight, or I want to see the best on the best, and wherever the chips lie, they lie, and I think that's what's good for the sport. So, but I want, specifically for our program and our kids, I try and make our schedule as tough and as what I can possibly find, so that way you're prepared, right? And I just don't, I don't think my mind will probably stray from that. There's been years where I'm like, gosh, maybe this was a little bit much, but at the end of the day, it's proven itself.
Well, Coach, just to piggyback that, with the team that you have this year, obviously, I don't know if it's the best team you've had, but it's one of the best I've seen, out of Blackwell for some time. But there's obviously teams that you got to duel this year like Tuttle. But what are 3 teams that you didn't get to wrestle this year with this team that you would like to? In a perfect world, you're not going to get to wrestle them. Not that you're calling them out, but matches that you want to see, knowing what you have and knowing what they have. What matchups do you want to see that you don't get to have this year?
Well, I'll kind of touch on, the team last year, we graduated 7 guys. So, and we broke the 3A record. So that's, this team, I think they've got a little chip on their shoulder to try and probably, go and do that. And whether it's possible, I don't know. We don't care. As long as we can kind of come out on top, that'd be great. Hopefully, each team I have every year becomes better and better. 3 teams that we didn't get to wrestle this year. The Coweta people really wanted to wrestle us, and I would love to wrestle them. I think Coach Ellis and them, they've done a phenomenal job. And at one time we had them scheduled, and 3A district, just some points and stuff kind of got mishapped, and anyway, so we weren't allowed to have that. I'd like to duel Coweta.
Phil and I actually were talking.
We were talking about that before we came on the show.
on the
show. Pick one, yeah.
But really, anybody. I mean, anybody. I mean, I don't. It doesn't really matter to us. You know who we go in. We really wanted to wrestle in the Bixby Duel, the Green Country Duel tournament this weekend. You know, we just seen Broken Arrow, Bixby, Rose Hill, Salina. I mean, there was a stacked house, and I just think anytime you can get in front of quality opponents that are going to push you and put you in uncomfortable situations, we're about it. So. Yeah.
Coach, talk about Class 3A guy. Of course, you're the top, and everyone's kind of good. But as a coach, how do you look at 3A? I know Lincoln Christian won their first ever district duel, so they're going to stay for the first time in 3A. Marlowe, Salina, what's your overall thoughts on Class 3A?
Yeah, Lincoln Christian's a very talented team. They came here and dueled us last Tuesday in Blackwell, and then their districts were in Newkirk on Wednesday, and I made sure to go and watch that because I thought that they might be able to come out of that thing on top. People kind of thought I was crazy, but Lincoln Christian's doing a great job. Coach Stokes over there, they're doing a good job, and they're young. 3A's 3A's interesting. I think every year 3A is interesting. The last couple of years, it's been a Blackwell, Marlowe, and then last year Blackwell, Marlowe, Salina. Uh, it's always interesting, and even like with our team this year, I know that everybody thinks it's over, and I'm like, well, heck, we might as well not wrestle the state tournament if it's if they're just going to give us the trophy. But you have to remember for us and for our guys, I have 7 new guys in the lineup that didn't go to the tournament last year, so they've got to go and make a name for themselves. Yes, they're having a great regular season. Yes, we're on track, and they train as good as any team as I've ever had. I mean, they're soldiers, they're solid, but you've still got to go and perform, right? And so, all we're focused on really is just, we kind of say scoring the next point or the next best thing if something doesn't go your way. If you get beat in the semis, I need you to come back through and get third. So, so I think Salina's, in my opinion, Salina is that team to really, really fast track and watch, and they've done a fantastic job as well. And then always, Marlowe's going to have some athletes and Pahuska, and I think 3A is just a fun tournament in itself anyway. The fans are by far the best in any class. They show up and pour it all into that, and I think it's a really good visualization of what wrestling is, right? When the 3A state tournament's going on every single year, something crazy's happening down there, right? And I'm telling you, it's a great perspective for the sport too. So, 3A. I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 or 5 teams in there, and then everybody else is going to have some good individuals, right? So that always throws a wrench into things. And no matter how we kind of think it might play out, it never plays out what we think it is. Yeah. So that's the beauty of the rest. That's the beauty of sport, though. So we'll see. I mean, we got. What do we got? About a month left here to see where everything kind of falls. So we're excited, and I'm just not overlooking Bristow this Thursday. So
yeah, there you go. Lincoln Christian. We just bragged about Lincoln Christian. They went up in Blackwell, lost 61-16. So anyway, it was a little lopsided there, Shawn.
No, well, so you talked about the Big Four tournament, or not the Big Four tournament, but the tournament over in Tulsa you were hoping to get to. You mentioned Rose Hill. You've got a buddy that lives over there, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You went to high school with Zach Gensler?
Yep, Zach. Yeah. He went to school at Oklahoma State with me. Yep, yeah, he's a good dude.
Just a fun. I'm just teeing that up for a fun Kansas story. So sorry, Phil and I are Kansas boys, and we kind of transplanted here.
He's right across the county.
Yeah,
close enough.
You're very close.
Yeah, we're right here.
So their head coach over there, I actually wrestled with in high school and then in college. But Zach's grandfather is the reason I got into wrestling. He sat right behind my mom. He sat right behind my mom and dad in church and noticed that I could not sit still and that I was a problem. And he goes, that kid needs to be in wrestling. So his great grandpa started the wrestling program in Augusta. Doc Gensler, the chiropractor.
Yes.
And then so one of Doc's sons was my first wrestling coach, which is Zach and Jake's dad. And so anyway, so all those years ago, and then he ends up going to school with Landry and Landry Chapel.
Yeah.
Went to school with Coach. So just that kind of a full circle. But anyway, I wanted to give him a shout out. I figured he'd be
Genslers are they're a great family, man, and I'm telling you, they were good wrestlers too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Probation officer made me take up wrestling.
That's all right.
Before church, before you made it to church.
Before I
That's
found
right.
The
Jesus.
second
That's
time you
right.
went back to jail, then you found Jesus. So.
Well, Coach, you talked about those 7 who graduated last year. Talk a little bit about your roster this year and who's going for what and how many going for what. Just break down your roster this year.
Yeah, at 106, we have Rylan Sandoval. I think he's actually the only guy on our team right now that's still undefeated. So hopefully he can kind of keep that alive. He's a freshman, and he's extremely talented, man. And yeah, I think I think every kid that we have on our team that's starter is they all have the same goals or aspirate, and they want to be a champ. And for 99% of them, it's obtainable. So moving on to 113 is Garrett Short, returning state champ. Extremely talented. He's a junior. So Rylan is a freshman. Garrett's a junior. At 120, we're actually about to have a little shakeup in our lineup right through there. So Cole Hetrick is coming down from 126, and he'll be at 120. And Cole's a returning qualifier, and I think he's number 2 at 126 right now, or something in those rankings. Maybe I'm not sure. And then Madden Edgar will be coming down from 132, I think, where he's number 1 maybe, and then he'll be at 26. It looks like right now. So, and then 32, we'll have another junior step in there that has seen the lineup some this year, not a whole lot, just because he's kind of been covered up by some stingers on our team.
State.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find in there, but so we'll try and find a slot in there for him. And then at 38, Saban Batten, who's returning. He's a senior, and he's I think he was 3rd last year. So I kind of, my philosophy is if you were 3rd the year before, you better be 1st your next year. So, it's kind of like a unwritten rule, I guess, for me. But so then move on to 144, where I have a sophomore who didn't get to start last year because of our lineup, and he's had some huge win. He beat the Guthrie kid in the duel, which was a good win, and then he went and placed at Cushing and I think he was like the 13 seed at Cushing. And it's kind of Mason Young is his name. He's a testament to our program. Didn't get his way last year. Didn't get that opportunity to go to the state tournament because he was covered up by, legitimate guys, and didn't bat an eye at it. He did what he was supposed to do, got better, and here he is this year. And I really think Mason Young could be a state champion for us. So a guy that kind of comes, just out of our program. He's been a program guy his whole life, and he trains like a rock star. So, I think we'll see. 150, we have a returning runner-up who's a sophomore, Bodie Thomason. I think he's ranked number 1 right now, and I expect him to be number 1 whenever he ends the year. So 57 is Andrew Young, be Mason's older brother, and he's a junior and a two-time qualifier, and I think he's ranked number 1 right now, and I expect him to be. He's done everything right. He completely transformed his body and work ethic before school even started in August. So then 65, another sophomore that didn't get to see the lineup last year because he was covered up. Kind of the same story with Ryder Short. I expect him to go really deep into the tournament, and kind of do what our program is known about. Be that guy that gets that medal or finalist appearance or whatever, that people are like, well, who is this guy? And now 75 is Grant Rao, who's probably, he's on a very, very short list of the best guys that I've ever coached. He's a returning state champ. I think he's been in the finals twice, 3-time medalist. He's got some big wins this year. Beat Hamidi from Stillwater this year. He won the Melissa tournament, won Cushing. Tech Fall to state champ at Cushing in the finals. Probably one of the most talented guys I've ever coached in that regard. And then 190 is another junior returning runner-up in Kelby Ingram. Expect for him to do one place better this year. That's kind of what we see it as. And he actually, great story with Kelby and kind of a testament to him. In March of last year, he blew his knee out in a freestyle tournament, and he had full reconstructive knee surgery, ACL, MCL, everything you could tear, he tore, had full reconstructive surgery. And then most scenarios, I feel like unless you're in Blackwell wearing maroon, you probably wouldn't be wrestling this year. And he wrestled the day that he got released in the Perry Blackwell duel without practice. So that's a state finalist for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's
then
also that's also the culture you're talking about.
that's
Coach.
right, yeah. And as a coaching decision, it's probably silly of me to wrestle him, but if you knew the kid, you'd understand why.
I got a
he's
feeling
just
he was chewing on his wrestling singlet to get
boy.
out
I
of
mean,
there.
I'm telling you. And then he finaled at Cushing the same week. So I mean, what a guy. And then 215 and heavyweight, both new faces to the lineup this year, both young guys. With Cooper Ward at 215, sophomore, kind of the same thing. He was sitting behind a 4-time state champion last year, so didn't get to see the lineup. Here he is. And then at heavyweight right now is James Looper. He's a junior for us. And then we also have a freshman. They're kind of competing back and forth. So that'll, in due time, we'll know who the starting heavyweight will be for us. So,
Hey, Coach, how many seniors did you list?
I only have 2 seniors.
Yeah,
It's going to be a.
that's
And
kind of my point.
that are scoring points. Yeah. So yeah, things are good in
That's
Blackwell,
why I
man.
was so impressed
Yeah,
with
they
this
are.
team, Phil.
Yeah,
I was so impressed with this team because
Yeah.
they're young and they're just hammers.
Well, you got a lot of great wrestlers. The kid that stands out, Shawn and I have talked a lot about, is your freshman 106-pounder.
He stands out for good reason.
He's a freak.
Did he?
Yes,
He's a
Did
he's
he
freak.
practice with your junior high last year? Was he in your high school room already? I mean, he's a two-time
both.
state
The thing with
champion.
Ryland, the Sandoval's, it's pretty funny. I kind of tell people this. Whenever I came back to town and started coaching, I mean, they were little bitty. Him and he's got a 7th grade brother that's a hammer too. But they were coming in there, little bitty guys, to my high school practices at that time, and they've been good forever, man. And they've been around forever and wrestled a billion matches. It's really fun now to see how Ryland Sandoval has matured, and he's in there every day and accepting coaching, right? And he knows he's good. Everybody knows he's good, but he's humble enough and coachable enough to take it to another level. And when you're able to do that as a kid, as an athlete, man, I'm telling you, it'll completely revolutionize how you can progress. And just in the last 60 days, Ryland Sandoval went from really good to really dang good, and he's a handful, so.
Yeah, he is.
We talk about that Grand State tournament that Phil and I are just dreaming.
We're
and
jockeying
over.
for Grand State
the-
so
It'd be
bad,
great.
Coach.
But the junior high state tournament is that.
There's no doubt.
If you win that, there's no class.
Yeah.
If you win
Yeah.
junior high state, you're the best kid at that weight in the state of Oklahoma for that age. And I mean, this kid won it twice. He won it as a 7th grader and an 8th grader.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and and that
incredible.
team that we just graduated, and then this set of guys that we have now, when they were 8th or 9th graders. So when those guys I just we won junior high state that year as a team. So that
a
those guys that
3A
just
team.
graduated were a part of that. So they would have been maybe their freshman year, I think. And so these guys were all part of that as well. So that's kind of what we're seeing, and it's been rewarding for me this year because we had a huge graduation, and I can understand people are like, boy, Blackwell's going to fall off that map and this and that. And I'm just kind of I've been so excited for these younger guys that didn't get their shot,
You
that
knew what
now
you
they're,
Yeah.
they're, we won the Perry tournament. They were 2nd at Cushing. They won the Texas tournament. Everything that they've done up to this point was earned by them, and it was expected too, right? But they've done it, and now they need 30 more days to go and really do it again.
Coach, if you just work out a couple bugs, you guys got a chance of being pretty good.
Yeah,
You
I hope
were
so.
talking
Hey, man,
about.
there's crazy things that can happen.
Oh,
You
no,
can-
listen, it's sports.
you know.
Anything can happen, but
especially this sport.
yeah,
it's a humbling sport.
you've got to like where you're setting.
No, you
guys
but
are,
this group's so enjoyable to coach, though. I mean, I love what's funny is let's see, they're in their 2nd practice right now at 6:30. So we have 2 practices a day if we're not dueling or at a tournament. So we practiced at 2:00 until about just a little before 4, and then they're in there at 6:30 right now. And Coach Shin and Coach Edgar and Coach Q are running them through a 45-minute drill, and but it's normal, right? If we didn't have that, parents would be texting and calling me right now saying, why don't we have night practice?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
even if there is a foot of snow on the ground, the first thing that got cleared was that parking lot for Sunday practice yesterday.
I guess it answers that question. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So you were talking, about the kids that we may not know, like your partner that had his name on the back of your plate, and
Yeah, he was state runner up at
yeah,
at that.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
so to my point, I'm fixing to make. Phil was talking about just there's something different about wrestling. I know, when you're not the starter at a program like what you're at, or really anywhere, it's almost like you're fighting to earn the respect of the people in the room.
Yep.
And if you're able to do that, it doesn't mean you're better. It doesn't mean you can beat them. But if you can earn the respect of that starter, that means you've worked hard, you've improved, you've got better, you've helped them get better. And
Absolutely.
all that does is mean that you're a better person. And if that guy, in your case, these younger guys were in here that no one knew, well, you knew their name, but you saw them earning that respect. You saw how well they competed. And now the rest of us are getting to see that. That's got to be a cool thing for you to watch, because, you're sitting there in the room watching, okay, I've got a 4-time state champion, and there's a guy right behind him that can't even get in the lineup that probably could make the finals, and he's not even starting yet. And now your stud leaves, but now you got the best kid in the state. It's just got to work itself out. That's got to be a fun thing to watch.
It is. It's rewarding, to be a coach in that position too, right? And I think those guys that graduated, I bet if you polled them, none of them would be surprised at where these guys are at right now, right? Because and that's how they were able to become so good too. And when you have a partner constantly pushing you and nipping at your heels and kind of being like, man, this guy's a pup, but he's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys all of a sudden become, like you said, highly respectable guys. And on the flip side, these younger guys, they got to see that to fear nobody, right? They got to see these other guys go and win and show them how to do it, and that hard work does pay off, and that our system works, and that if you just buy in and do it, great things can come from it, right? And it's been I can't say enough. It's been so rewarding with this group, specifically this year too, just to watch them and how they've matured and how they've handled that full-time starting lineup, right? And early January here, I think it was like we weighed in 10 times in 13 days or 14 days, something like that, and on the road for every one of them. And so you learn how, and that Tuttle was the last weigh-in on that, right? So we went, and so like we found out just how tough you are, and they handled it phenomenally, right? And so going into that Tuttle duel, I was a little bit nervous just because I'm like, man, we have been through the gauntlet between Texas and Cushing and duels in between, and now we've got one more to kind of, you have to go and do it. They respond well, and so they've been battle tested. They've kind of done it, and now I can pull the reins back, and now we can get fresh for the end of the year. So it's rewarding, man. What they've done thus far is it's fantastic.
Speaking with head coach of the Blackwell Maroons, Coach Connor Cline. Coach, we've got 3 hard-hitting questions ready to wrap this up for you so you can get to practice. What's one rule that Coach Cline would want to add, change, or modify, or delete in high school wrestling?
Man, I don't know. I would probably go with, if we have a 3-point takedown, I think you got to have riding time. I don't know. I was a big top guy in high school though, so I loved college because I got that point to ride. So now
That's
we
why they're so good on
cannot.
top.
Yeah, what's kind of crazy is I rode legs, and we don't ride legs. I think legs can go bad for high school kids unless they really know how to ride. So collectively, we'll just get a wing and try and break your shoulder. But no,
You've had some kids that can ride legs. I've seen them.
we have, yeah. But we're not in a high school level that we're not able to have riding time, so it'd be a total nightmare as far as clock management and whatnot went. I do probably the rule that I would like to have would be like a challenge, like a challenge break. Just like maybe nothing crazy, but like you get to a tournament or one a dual meet to where like there is something to where, you could probably go back and look, like maybe just at like the postseason events, I think would be nice. I think with technology in today's world, that should surely be manageable at some point for us. But
Yeah, need to get those big time matches right.
yeah, that's right. I mean, it can seem like life or death a lot, but as hard as our guys work, I'm going to coach that hard, and I'm telling you, sometimes I'll make myself look like a complete idiot, but
I've never
if you
done
got to see
that.
how hard they work, that's why I'm gonna fight for them too.
What's
So,
that feel like, Coach? I've never made myself look like an idiot in the last
I
hour
remember
and
you
a
had a
half.
Blackwell Guthrie duel in my early years.
Oh, you were there?
Oh yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was there. So gotta tell this quick story. This is so good.
Oh, I didn't know you were there, Coach.
Oh, yeah, no, I
it's
do.
even better.
I don't think I was there.
It
I don't
had
know
to
the
have been
story.
seriously like my first or second year.
I think
head
it
coach.
was, yeah. But I
was-
remember
yeah.
I'm up top. Chris is broadcasting it, and I'm literally eating a bag of popcorn, and I don't know the coach's name, heavyset guy.
He's at
nice
Broken Arrow now.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah.
Him and I made up.
Yeah, I
later at
remember
the state
that.
tournament, but I'm literally probably the only guy in the gym that wasn't offended by what happened. You know, Blackwell kid got caught by one of our kids. Blackwell kid was dog walking our kid. You know, he just got caught and got pinned, and when the Blackwell kid stood up, he leaned into the Guthrie kid, and the Guthrie kid leaned in. It's wrestling. It's not a big deal. You know, it's not a big deal. And I'm going, and all the people in Guthrie are like, hey, and I'm eating popcorn going, what's the big deal? Next thing I know, the coach, what was his name? What's Coach's name?
Coach Miller.
Coach
Jake Miller's going to Iowa State. That's his son. He wrestled for us.
Yeah.
Senior at Broken Arrow.
Yeah, so Coach Miller, nice guy. He looks up at me and says, "Come down here and say that."
So you said something.
Well, I said something,
okay,
and my fat butt hadn't moved that fast to get down there in 20 years. I was ready to get down there. But hey, that's what
wrestling's like NASCAR, man. It'll bring out all sides of you.
Hey, let me tell you, I grew up in a town much like Blackwell. I got a lot of family in Ponca. We'll talk about it sometime off the air. But Blackwell could very well be Eureka, Kansas.
That's right.
Same kind of people. You know,
We love them though.
Yeah,
They're the best fans in
100%.
the world.
Wouldn't change it for the world, but I think that there is just those kind of moments, right? Everybody else was all shook up about it, and I was sitting there. I was over it as soon as it was, you know, by basically when it started, I was already getting over it.
Yeah, it happens.
But it happened. So yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't know you
Chris
didn't know
was
Coach
excited
was
too.
there.
No, I didn't know.
I knew because I remember seeing because I remember thinking.
It was quite the scene.
I remember thinking, I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about Coach Miller, with all due respect. But that kid just wrestled at OSU. I'm a little concerned about him.
The quiet one with the goofy ears. Yeah, avoid at all costs.
That's right.
Sean, you got your hard-hitting question?
All right, so tell us, in your opinion, what's the best thing about the sport of wrestling?
Well, you know, the cliche saying, everything else in life is easier if you do it. It's boy, it's the truth, you know, and it prepares you for some, hard things in life. I think it holds you accountable and responsible, and if you do things right, there is reward, and that doesn't necessarily mean a state title or a millionaire or whatever. But if you live and do it right, it becomes very rewarding, and that's the biggest thing that you can take away from it. It's a humbling sport, it's a rewarding sport, and it'll help you in all facets of life. I mean, it has me. It's completely changed my life, and I don't, truly, I don't, if I wasn't coaching wrestling, I'd be pretty bored, finding trouble or something. It's just kind of the way of life, and not everybody's going to be the greatest wrestler, the greatest coach, or whatever that may be, but you can learn a lot, a lot of things from it.
Yeah, no
So
doubt.
the follow-up to that is, what is the worst part about wrestling?
Ooh, man.
That's a good question.
I'd probably say the cutting weight part's no fun, right? And in general, I kind of get tired sometimes. We preach go have fun and go score a lot of points, and but wrestling is not fun, right? Like with football and basketball and baseball, it's like, hey, let's go up to the gym and shoot some hoops, or let's go throw a football. And nobody's like, hey, let's go wrestle.
That's right.
Wrestling is not. What's fun about wrestling? The end game, the reward of getting your hand raised and man, I kind of I jumped through that and I didn't think I could. And I found my way to the other side, right? Like that's the fun part of wrestling. And, all the in-betweens is, not a definition of fun for people. So, yeah, cutting weight probably is the worst part, I would say.
Coach, you got contact sports, you got collision sports, and then you have combat sports.
That's right.
And it takes a, I always say you got to be about a half a bubble off to volunteer to go in that room and want to do that, in a good way. In a good way. But so
Sure.
I couldn't agree more. I ask the hardest question every week. What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, man. I actually just had a nutty cone before this.
Come on now. All right.
Coach ain't pulling weight.
I'd probably, I'm a big cookies and cream guy, probably, in a waffle cone. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Hey, Blizz, you like Dairy Queen?
Oh, I love Dairy Queen.
Yeah. If you hold it upside down and the ice cream doesn't come out, it's a blizzard, right?
That's right.
That's right. Okay. That's all.
I'm not going to get into that.
It's always he dumps it out and then he looks at Chris every time. It's like a threat.
That's right. Who's this guy? Who's this
That'd be
Sandoval
who's
guy?
that? Ray Sandoval. That's Ryland's dad.
Yeah. I want to make sure we get that happy birthday
Yeah,
in
you
there.
bet.
There's another question on here about $200 in your shirt. I don't know if that's a trick question or not.
$200 in a shirt?
Well, I'll bring it up. Sure. They put it on there.
I'm here for this.
Coach Cline, did you really turn down $200 to take your shirt off in the state championship match?
Ooh, I don't think I've heard that one.
Okay.
So I guess not.
But
So is that offer still on the table?
Because they're probably talking about Coach Edgar
taking
his shirt off and never match one
think
last
so.
year, maybe.
I think so.
I didn't turn down any money. I might have taken that 200.
That's right. I was doing PA last year with Clay Drake at the state tournament, and I hear this commotion. There's a million things going on up at the table. And I look down, and I see bodies flying, and I see a guy running around without his shirt off, and I'm like, what in God's green earth is going on?
I was right there.
My ACL out, tackling me.
I was right there. The 583 mats are right there. And so I was like, I don't know what just happened, but something big just happened.
Well, I was calling
epic.
5A, and it's Marlowe and Blackwell down here making all kinds of noise the whole time, and I'm trying to focus on a match, and then afterwards everyone's asking me if I saw what happened. I'm like, no, I didn't. No one got it on film, so I never saw it.
Coach, you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it.
Man, what an experience! First off, and so that's Coach Edgar. He was my high school coach. I date his lovely daughter too, and now we live next door. So
No pressure,
and that's
Coach. No pressure.
Yeah, so that's his son, Madden, and what a hell of a match, right? Beat a guy going for his fourth title. I'm not sure, I don't know that any of us can really say what we would have done because we don't have a son that just did that.
Yep.
Number one, wow. I mean, what that's what makes the sport so enjoyable, right? And as hard as I got to see him train, and he was just a little chubby guy watching me wrestle and watching our teams wrestle, and then now I get to coach him. What an experience, and as hard as he trains, heck, I probably should have taken my shirt off with his dad, and
for free, not even
and done the same. Yeah, for free, right? Hell with the 200. But no, I mean, yeah, what a deal. That's what makes the sport so fun, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Reference back to if ever Blackwell's number one, they're guaranteed to win. Well, hell, just give us the trophy and we won't go then. But you never know what can happen, and that's the beauty of the sport. And sometimes you're on the other end of the coin of that, and you're never out until the whistle blows, and we got tech pinned by Colt Collette at Inola last year in the second week of January.
Wow.
And then you beat him in the state finals, a guy going for his fourth title. So
a lot of emotion.
Yeah, he has full permission to celebrate however the hell he needed to on that one.
Well, what I told somebody, I said, and it's really what you just said, I said, listen, if you're a dad and you've got a son that competes in any sports, you need to just smile.
Yeah,
just smile. He wasn't the AD then. He wasn't the AD. He wasn't a coach. He was a dad.
Yeah, that's right. And that I told our superintendent that on the floor before they gave the trophy. I said, that's job security for me. And he just kind of laughed, But no, I mean, what an epic thing. I mean, we can all just hope to have a son do something
Yeah,
like that, or
absolutely.
or hell, I'm so happy that he's just a wrestler and wearing maroon, and just what a cool experience, and just and like I said a few minutes ago, our guys work hard, we coach hard, we celebrate hard, and we'll cry hard with them when it doesn't go their way,
Yeah.
right? And that's just kind of how we are, and some people really like it, and others really don't. We're arrogant assholes to them, so it is what it is, and
I say it every time I talk about Blackwell. I love to hate you guys.
That's right. Yeah.
On the receiving end, it's no fun at all. But golly, you're fun to watch.
I think
when it ain't us.
I think Nick Saban says it best. Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people.
That's right. And we try and we try and separate ourselves and be unique. And and a lot of that, Coach John, he was like that. Coach Smith, he didn't care what people thought of him or whatever. He was going to be the best or die trying, I guess. So that's just kind of how we are as a staff and as a program, as a community.
Yeah.
It's just it's ingrained here, and sometimes it can get a little out of hand, but when you're invested, and we sure love it up here, man.
It just got a little Western, Coach. That's okay. It's
That's
no
right.
big deal.
That's right. There's a lot of fun in Western.
That's right.
So,
Coach Cline, it's always a blast to watch your teams compete, and we'll get to see it a few more times, hopefully this year in person as well. Best of luck the rest of the way. I know a lot of people want to give it to you, and a lot of people are probably in the right way, but I know you're handling it the right way, one duel at a time, one match at a time. Can't thank you enough for joining us here, and man, we'll definitely have you on once again, hopefully soon.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. What you guys are doing is it's fantastic. It really is, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
We appreciate you.
Best of luck.
Yep. Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Phil, you got a big pick on Thursday. Okay.
I know. I won't screw it up, Coach.
All right, buddy.
I won't
Let
screw
me
it
know.
up.
If I
I
need
won't
to text
screw
you
it up.
some info, I can text you. But
I won't screw it up, Coach.
all right, brother. Y'all be
All right,
good,
bro.
man.
Be
Thank
good.
you guys.
Blackwell head coach Connor Cline on the High School Huddle. Appreciate him dropping by for a little bit, and his Blackwell Maroons are pretty darn good. And they have that little 3 beside them, but they're one of the best in the state, regardless of class.